So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, we've got the big fight tonight. The big fight. AJ will take on Kubrat Pulev. Probably about 10 o'clock UK time. And it's a big fight. It is a big fight. It's definitely a big fight for Anthony Joshua's career. We know that if he wins this fight, a fight between him and Fury is looming. I still don't think that fight's gonna happen. I think there's gonna have to be another fight. I think Fury may have to fight Wilder and Joshua may have to fight Usyk. I think if Fury fights Wilder and Joshua fights Usyk, I think there's a great possibility we might not see Joshua Fury, because Fury Wilder is not an easy fight for Fury, and Joshua Usyk definitely is a hard fight for Joshua. I'm more confident that Fury beats Wilder than I am Joshua beating Usyk, if I'm totally honest with you. Usyk is a serious fighter. People keep talking about his size, but forget that a second. Let's talk about the fight tonight. Listen, Anthony Joshua is one of the most exciting fighters of the recent last 10-15 years. He's up there for me with... For me, the two most exciting fighters that I've watched every single fight are probably Khan and him. Just because I think they're both vulnerable. They both got skills and ability and talent. But their vulnerability factor just makes them so exciting. You're always on the edge of the seat whenever they're fighting. Both obviously had great Olympic success. Both had great, success in their respective divisions. But like I said, that vulnerability factor for me inside a ring definitely makes them so exciting. They're so exciting to watch. And I just feel when it comes to this fight with Joshua and Pulev, I think, listen, my prediction is that Joshua stops him and Joshua knocks him out. I think Joshua will knock Kubrat Pulev out in probably 7-8 rounds. But as I made a video the other day, that I wouldn't be shocked if Kubrat Pulev beats Joshua. Some people say they would be shocked. I wouldn't, because I've learned that Anthony Joshua, throughout his whole career, if you go through his whole career, there's been bumps and spills and throughout his whole career. So when he lost to Andy Ruiz, it wasn't that, although it was a shock on who he lost to, it wasn't much of a shock that he lost, because he had shown so much vulnerability throughout his career. Against Dylan White, he was hurt bad and it looked like he could have been knocked out in that fight. Against Vladimir Klitschko, he was hurt bad. Against Takam, I felt he was blowing and he looked vulnerable. Against Andy Ruiz, he was put down. So in the second fight of the Andy Ruiz fight, although he boxed well, he looked, whenever Ruiz got close to him, he looked fragile. He looked like he was about to, it looked like he was about to fall apart at times, but he managed to keep himself together and get the win. So with Joshua's career, although he's been fast-tracked and he's done everything fast, and he's been fighting good fighters as well, which is a criticism of Fury, that he doesn't fight top fighters back to back to back. Joshua does. Povetkin's another fight where Joshua looked, especially at the start of that fight, he looked very vulnerable. I remember watching that fight with my friend, and my friend said Povetkin's going to knock him out, because it did look like Povetkin was getting to him, and whenever Povetkin was landing, Joshua rocked him a couple of times, and it just looked like, whoa, that Povetkin might stop him, but Joshua again came through. So the warning signs were there early on, so when people were shocked that, oh my God, Joshua got defeated by Ruiz, why were you so shocked? It was shocked that who he lost to, but not shocked that he lost, because he had shown vulnerability throughout his career, which showed that he could lose. Somewhere along the line, he was going to lose, in my opinion. So now that vulnerability is, it's been exposed in the sense that he's been beat. We shouldn't be shocked if Pulev pulls it off, or shocked if anyone that's a top 10 contender beats Joshua. Shouldn't be. Because it's more than possible. Because all Kubrat Pulev has to do is land a punch, and we know that Joshua can be hurt. In my opinion, if you have a good chin, you're able to absorb Joshua's power, right? You have a big punch yourself, right? You've got a great chance against Joshua. You've got a great chance of beating him. Like I said, I think Joshua is a great fighter with great skills, but there are vulnerabilities, and that's what makes Joshua so exciting. That's what makes him more compelling to viewing. He's more exciting than Fury. You look forward more to a Joshua fight than Fury, because Fury is more skilled. Fury is more, even though Fury goes down, he's more skilled. He's harder to hit. He's just a better overall complete boxer. Whereas Joshua has vulnerabilities which make him exciting, because you're on the edge of your seat. Like I said, he could get knocked out at any point. He could get knocked out at any point in the fight. Joshua could get hit and get knocked out. You could probably say that about any fighter, but with Joshua, he's more vulnerable. We've seen it in several fights where we haven't seen that. Well, we've seen that with Fury, but Fury recovers well. And I don't think Fury was the fighter that he was when he got dropped in those fights that he is now. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Whereas I think Joshua's always been a great fighter. When he fought Ruiz, he was a great fighter. It was just that Ruiz, I think Joshua's always going to have that vulnerability. I think Joshua might be able to manage it better as he gets more experience. But I think whenever someone's able to land on him, I think Joshua's, the way his body reacts and body turns it stiff. And I think that's always going to be there. I don't think Joshua's going to be able to change his style to an extent where he can start becoming an elusive Tyson Fury type fighter. That's not gonna happen. He's always gonna have that vulnerability there if he gets hit. And like I said, I think if you have a good chin, you can punch. You've got a chance against against Anthony Joshua. Kubrat Pulev, I don't know. I don't think he's a big puncher. If I'm totally honest, I think he can punch, but he's not the biggest puncher. He's more of a guy that wins on points, and I don't think he's gonna get a decision against AJ. Even if it's close, I think AJ will get the fight. And I don't see him outboxing AJ anyway. AJ's taller, got all the physical advantages, younger, fresher. So Kubrat Pulev's going to have to drag Anthony Joshua into a war. But again, does Pulev, again, like I said earlier, that you need to have a good chin. Does Pulev have a great chin like that? I don't know. I don't think he has the chin to take power from Joshua. Maybe from like guys like Huey Fury who went big punches and stuff. And the other guys, if Chisora, Joshua's puts his punches together very well, and he's powerful, and he's quick. So that is a problem for Pulev. And like I said, I saw him get knocked out to Vladimir Klitschko years ago, and that was Pulev more near his prime. I don't see him beating Anthony Joshua, but I wouldn't be shocked if he beats him. But I fancy Joshua to stop him in 7-8 rounds, maybe even earlier. He could even, if he lands something early, might be able to stop him early, because Pulev's 39 now. He's 39 years of age. And I think what makes this fight exciting is the fact that, like I mentioned, it's Joshua. And with Joshua, you just don't know. Although he's got skills and he's got ability, we know the vulnerability is there if he gets hit. We know if Kubrat Pulev's able to take Joshua's punches, we know that, Joshua could also get tired if we know that he has stamina issues. Pulev is able to put him under pressure. We know that he could tire Joshua as well. So this fight is exciting for many reasons. I think there's not one particular reason why I think this fight is exciting. I think the fact that what Joshua showed against Ruiz the second time, yes, he could box, but he also showed a more fragile version of himself. He also showed a more scared version that was scared whenever Ruiz got close, that looked like he was going to fall apart. So for me, that's not the Joshua we know. We know Joshua coming out and blowing guys away. But when you get blown away yourself, sometimes that takes a little way away from yourself. You're a bit more gun shy. You're a little bit more conservative. You're not looking to go out and throw as many punches because if you get caught, what the consequences could be. And I do think AJ's loss against Ruiz, I think AJ is definitely going to be more conservative. However, I'm not sure he's as good as Lennox Lewis or Vladimir Klitschko, as good as those guys were, to be able to box and keep the shorter guys. Because let's not forget, Lewis and Klitschko were knocked out. But for me, Lewis and Klitschko had better boxing skills, which meant that they were able to neutralize a lot of the guys that they fought. But let's not, bearing in mind, Klitschko, in his era, the fighters weren't as good. Although I thought Klitschko, even in this era, would have potentially dominated. Apart from Fury, I think Klitschko would have probably dominated even in this era, just because Klitschko in his prime was a formidable fighter. I think Lewis was, again, another formidable fighter that was able to neutralize a lot of the smaller guys that he was fighting. I'm not sure Joshua's able to do that. We showed that against Ruiz, but Ruiz in that fight didn't help himself. And although Joshua did good, I think a lot of that was down to the fact that Ruiz came out of shape and wasn't in the greatest shape. If Ruiz came in better shape, I think that would have been a lot tougher for Joshua. And every time Ruiz got close to Joshua, Joshua didn't look comfortable. When Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko did what they had to do and box at range, and they look quite comfortable doing it. Joshua didn't look very comfortable, especially when Ruiz got near him. And that's what makes you think if it was a more fitter, hungrier, in better shape Ruiz, what would the outcome have been? So yes, I am picking Joshua to win this fight by knockout. No result would surprise me though. But I do think against a 39-year-old Pulev, I do think that Joshua will knock him out, if I'm totally honest with you. I think a lot of the hate is that a lot of fans want to see Joshua lose. Some of the British fans have probably gone against Joshua because some of the comments that he made. And I think that's why a lot of people would love to see Joshua, but I don't think I see him losing this fight. If I'm honest with you, I feel like he's going to go in there and knock Pulev out. And I wouldn't be surprised if he takes Pulev out early in this fight, just because of the fact that I do question how good Pulev's chin is. And I do feel that Pulev's a bit slow as well, a bit robotic. And I feel like Joshua is fast, he's quick, he's powerful. And I think that might be a problem for Pulev and the style that he's got. But if Pulev is able to land the right hand that he's got a good right hand, he may be able to hurt Joshua. At this point, we don't know what. It may not take a lot to hurt Joshua. Joshua may just have to be dragged in a fight to be taken to that dark place again. And it's gonna be a good one. I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think, like I said, Joshua is always exciting. Whether he's at the receiving end or he's dishing out the punishment, it's always exciting watching Joshua. But yeah, he is the heavy favorite, and he's the heavy favorite for a reason. He is fighting an older man, and a man that's only lost once, by the way. Pulev's only lost once in his whole career. Again, that was against Klitschko. There's no shame in that. I know his resume isn't exactly stellar, but he still beat everybody else that he's been in the ring with. But he hasn't looked impressive. I saw a podcast with that Teddy Atlas did, and he said Pulev hasn't looked as impressive as people thought he would be. And I think I agree with that. I don't think Pulev has looked that impressive in a lot of fights, whereas Joshua has looked impressive in certain fights. So you just got to favor Joshua, if I'm honest with you. But like I said, anything's possible in the heavyweight division. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave your predictions below. Do you think Joshua will knock Pulev out? Do you think Pulev will pull up the upset? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Make sure to smash the like button. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.